Apparently, New York City Mayor Eric Adams suddenly has an epiphany. After first greeting migrants on buses, now he's like, okay, maybe it's time for us to stop with the sanctuary city stuff. Maybe it's time to reverse our decisions and our laws. He's kind of done. He's saying that when the migrants first arrived here, he was greeting them, very happy about it, and now he realizes that they've got a problem. I mean, they've been having a problem for like the past 12 months, right? The thing about the whole migrant crisis in New York City is it's okay to have migrants. New York is built by migrants, okay? And I'm sure everyone in New York is cool with them. But when you take in 200,000 and your whole city is basically going broke, then people have a problem with you. So Eric Adams right now is doing damage control. New York City is doing really, really bad. They're starving for cash when they have no bid contracts to help migrants, which taxpayers right now are being fleeced. If you go to New York right now, there's just people sleeping on the streets. There's people in tents, right? And not to mention, Times Square is battle royale. I don't want to go to Times Square. It is super dangerous. Every single week, there's always some sort of violent crime being committed. And Times Square is supposed to be the heavy tourism area. New York City tourism is already taking a small hits. You already have people who thought about going to New York City, but now they don't want to go because of the whole migrant crisis. And guys, it's 2024. Do you have to go to New York City for vacation? Do you have to locate your company to New York City to have connections? Not really. We're seeing New York City already getting a lot of its talent stolen by other cities. Like up north, you got Toronto, which they dubbed the new Manhattan. You got down the south, Miami, which recently opened up their first trading floor. That's a big punch to New York's face. That's the Wall Street South. And even places that are non-traditionally tech or finance, like Vegas, is getting a lot of tech and finance. New York City, what do they have to offer? Oh, we do offer like $5.7 billion on the migrant crisis, which, by the way, everything is overpriced, and taxpayers, well, you just waste your money. You know, if you make $1 million in New York, half of it is taken away by the government. And do you get anything? Absolutely not. And finally, for once, you actually have people protesting Eric Adams and his administration about the whole migrant crisis situation. And he's doing damage control. He's finally reversing it, which is honestly kind of nice, right? I wasn't expecting the mayor to do a U-turn, but when money's running dry, this is kind of like what you have to do. And look at this. Program for at-risk New York City students could be gone because of loss of federal stimulus. Maybe spend a little money on this. This is like the important stuff. This is what makes a city good, right? There's 16,000 students in this, and many students have criminal records, or they got held back, or they don't have enough academic credit. This sort of program is important because if you don't have this program, what do the kids do? They go on the streets, and then they don't graduate, and they don't actually get a real job, and things just spiral downwards for them, right? And these are some pretty young kids too. So why not keep this program up? In fact, I would say inject even more money into this. If you could spend $5.7 billion on the migrant crisis, you could at least spend like $50 million on this. You know, there's only 16,000 students. Just help them out, right? I think if you really pour money into programs like these, I guarantee you, New York would actually be a pretty decent place to live. And pour some money into some of the homeless communities and some of the communities who are experiencing high crime. Just pour a little bit of money, right? But New York City right now is spending exorbitant amounts of capital on the migrant crisis. We're talking about $12 billion to the end of 2025, which is a year and a half, and that is a lot of money to spend. And look at this. Everything you know about New York City's $15 congestion pricing toll. Now, a lot of people are also saying that New York City is going broke, right? And the reason why they're implementing this crazy $15 toll to go from Jersey to Midtown Manhattan is to generate $1 billion more for the MTA. Now, they didn't really have to do that. I'm sure New York has a lot of money, and New York makes a lot of money from tolls already, cargo ships, taxing businesses in Wall Street, but they're going broke. The city's GDP is higher than some countries around the world. But of course, when you take in 200,000 people, this is what you get. What you get is no money. Each migrant gets even more benefits, hotels. Like, for example, one hotel in New York City is charging New York like $7 million a month. And there's hundreds of these hotels. So just do the math and add it up. You could kind of see why New York City is going broke. They're spending billions at this point. I think they might be spending like $700 to $800 million per month, bare minimum, which is a crazy amount of money. And no wonder they're going to implement a brand new toll tax. And this is frankly very, very scary for New York City. And check this out. So we also have the trucker boycott continuing. For all the peeps out there who think the trucker boycott is over, really think again, right? You already have a lot of truckers sharing their experiences on X and TikTok, even on YouTube. They all say the same thing. There's a lot more loads in New Jersey and New York than drivers. And many of the streets, main arteries, like the New Jersey Turnpike directly to New York City, is pretty empty, right? You got like 6 lanes. 3 of them is dedicated for semi-trucks, the big Class 8 semi-trucks. And truckers like him are saying that many of these truckers are no longer going to New York, New Jersey. Their boycott is actually real. Now, obviously, not every single trucker is boycotting New York City. There's going to be some truckers that refuse to boycott and just want to make money. And many of the loads are an extra $2,000 to $3,000. Hey, nothing's wrong with making more money. In fact, it's a win-win for everyone. Who's paying this? Basically New York. And many brokers are actually telling truckers to just go to New York. Now, another reason why people don't want to go to New York is because of tolls. Let's be real, $15 on top of all the other crazy tolls. I mean, imagine trying to go to New York City without spending $50. That's impossible. Some people spend almost $100 just on tolls, roads, and all sorts of different shenanigans. Not to mention the NYPD is always on you, and there's a lot of tickets, okay? People say that every single time they go to New York, maybe every couple of times they get a ticket. Dude, it's crazy. Like, you're taxed heavily just by going to New York City. There's cameras everywhere, speed traps, cops everywhere. This is not a place to go, especially if you're a trucker. So yeah, no wonder Trucker Jake is saying that many drivers are refusing loads from New York. I don't even think it's a Trump thing anymore. I think it's just the way New York is running things. It's making everyone pretty mad. And lastly, we do update you guys with the Fanny Willis case. This is one of the most interesting cases out there. And the lawyer just did a massive blow. You got legal experts suggesting that the Georgia judge, Scott McAfee, has given a strong indication that he's planning to disqualify Fanny Willis, the district attorney of Fulton County, from her case against former President Donald Trump. The main reason why is because Willis apparently had a relationship with Wade, and there's actually a lot of proof and evidence. If just one thing, for example, financial or political ambitions, is noticed, she is disqualified, which there is, right? Money is involved in basically numerous different cases that is laid out. Not to mention there's even cases of political ambition. And this basically means that she probably is disqualified from this whole entire case. And Trump may finally have a small breather. One of the most interesting legal cases out there. I highly suggest people to watch the whole case. It's pretty wild, right? And the lawyer basically stood up, told the judge it was basically a 1-2 punch KO. And it was basically over. I don't really think Fanny Willis will have any chance to have a say for the Donald Trump case, and this case might just be thrown out the court as well. So it's really about pretty much done for Fanny Willis, if you look at some of the videos and texts. Pretty interesting. But so far, can New York City reverse their poor decision on the migrant crisis? You know, if New York only took in 2,000 to 3,000, they would have been fine, right? But they took in 200,000 people. No wonder the highest GDP city in America is now going broke. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below and see you later.